This week, I'd like to focus on joy. Most of the time when people think of joy, they think of sunshine. So, Father James, what are you doing down in the basement of the church? Well, in the early church, they would use the crypt underneath the city to worship God. And it was in these places that the early Christians who would become martyrs would celebrate the joy of Christ's resurrection. It was interesting that in the lowest places they would celebrate the joy. The lowest places, the darkest places, the deepest places, that's where they would find the joy. And so even as they walked to their death, they would find joy in it. Not in the suffering itself, not in the pain, not in the embarrassment or the humiliation, but they would find joy in the fact that they were participating in Christ's sacrifice. And that only meant that they would be redeemed and raised from the dead just as Christ was. In this Lent, we take on penances, we take on different acts to grow in our faith. And we do this not just to burden ourselves, not just to remind ourselves of how terrible we are, but we do it to participate in what Christ has already done for us, so that we too can be redeemed. So the question becomes, do you find joy in your penances? Do you allow them to transform you? Do you allow them to take hold of your heart to find joy in the redemption of whatever you're working on? In this way, even in the lowest places, even on the cross, we can find joy in Christ's resurrection.